this green-white Maverick deck.
Creatures, alright, Terminus. Are we done?
The whole Creatures v Terminus setup is going to be interesting. I wonder if Dakota knows what Shawn is doing. I wonder if he knows how much he needs to commit.
Shawn's been on a loss for a while, so it's less likely that they've been seated together since there are just more tables down there. A lot of top players, when they're undefeated in a tournament, very quickly figure out what their opponents will be playing. It's a lot harder when you take an early loss because you just might not have sat next to them. Is there anything interesting in Dakota's deck, like different from the norm? He has the Script Ranger, which is most lists, I would say, but not all. He's got Fauna Shamans. He does have 2 Jitte, which I imagine is quickly becoming more industry standard.
Yeah, it's very, very industry standard, especially in decks that cut Stoneforge Mystic, but he still has 1 Mystic.
Yeah. Just a Fauna Shaman 4, I imagine, is the idea. Yeah.
Fauna Shaman taking the place of Stoneforge Mystic when, on occasionally, Scavenging Ooze also takes over, oozes into the slot of Stoneforge Mystic as well.
Oozes. He's got a good read on the Florida metagame, which is very burn heavy. He's got Story Circle in his sideboard.
That's
Story
hateful.
Circle.
That's hateful, man. He sideboards another Stoneforge Mystic as well.
Well, I imagine that's just when he really wants those equipment, it can kind of function as the additional copy.
Yeah.
Other than that, it seems mostly just like a normal Maverick deck. Yeah, very straightforward. He does have a Linvala, which I think should be a one-up staple, especially when you're running Fauna Shaman.
Yeah. 3 Thalia is going to be a pretty big deal against the very, very spell-heavy deck of Shawn French.
That's true. Fortunately, Terminus only costs 2 mana.
Yeah.
I think he'll be relying on Terminuses. We're starting with top right off the bat. I see a Force of Will at a minimum in Shawn's hand. Shawn's name is spelled with a W, by the way, Jeremy. Although I prefer the U spelling, personally. Wooded Foothills for Dakota, but no Noble Hierarch or anything like that.
Yeah, Shawn's very happy to see no 1-drop and no Zenith, nothing like that.
The longer the game goes, the more likely it is to favor him.
Yeah.
Wooded Foothills. Dakota probably doesn't know what Shawn's playing, given that he asked to prompt for the Wooded Foothills. Are you going to stifle this just before he picked up the deck? So
yeah.
Just a small indicator. Savannah.
After a while, it becomes habit, though.
Sure, that's fair. Although it is amusing he would prompt for the stifle, but fetch the land that gets wastelanded. His hand is very land heavy, so I imagine he would be fine with getting wastelanded here.
Yeah. Although there aren't that many decks with top and wasteland.
Yeah. And Fauna Shaman. Second earn the Spell Snare. We didn't even have to force.
Yeah. I would not want that Fauna Shaman around if I'm Shawn.
That is fair to say. He has 2 forces and a Brainstorm, is what I see? Or is that a counterspell also?
I would definitely want to brainstorm those forces away. You can do a lot better against the threat-heavy green-white deck. There's no one threat that's really worthy of Force of Willing, and so you'd rather just have more 1-for-1 answers.
Right. The biggest thing they get can still get Terminus, so what's the point of bothering to 2-for-1 yourself? Even if you have to take some damage to get there, it's just more efficient.
You'd rather just hit your land drops and have your 2 Force Wills be a land and an actual counterspell.
Yep.
Because eventually you want to entreat the Angels for 20 at the end of your opponent's turn and kill them. That's how I would envision killing Dakota.
Knight of the Reliquary?
Wow.
Just going for the beater. And I believe that is a Tempest counterspell in his hand. He's considering using it. He's going to top first. That's another Tempest counterspell up there. And a Spell Snare. Yeah, I can't see the other card. Plains, maybe? I think it's Plains.
It could be a fetch land. I think it might be Polluted Delta.
I believe it's an APAC Plains.
Oh. Then, yeah, it's definitely a basic.
The Knight's gonna get counterspell, it looks like, if he's fetching here.
So why would he top there?
I think he kind of wanted to know if the next card was really good. Maybe if he knows he can float a Terminus for a few turns, he doesn't need to counter this Knight. He can just let it resolve.
That's legitimate. Yeah. Do you upkeep top here?
I guess we don't have a Brainstorm. That was a misread on my part. He just has a polluted Delta. I upkeep top for sure.
Yeah, if you don't have Brainstorm, I think you have to top.
I believe the counterspell I saw before was actually what I thought was a Brainstorm. Wow, no. He's letting it go, just plays a Tundra, passes.
I think you really want a Planeswalker in the next turn.
I'm curious what were we... Wait, what were we not...
I also would have topped before playing my land. Seen if I had a Planeswalker.
So then, you can pollute a Delta and shuffle again. Yeah, I agree we want a fetch land in play here.
Because if the top of your deck sucks, then you can fetch, look again.
You're going to have to draw a card.
And then you can play your dual land and have just hard cast Force of Will mana up.
Well, we're going to top now.
That looks like a counterspell.
Counterspell, fetch land, land. Well, I guess we can pop counterspell.
Yeah.
Now next turn we'll just be replaying our top and a fetch land, I imagine.
No.
Or you just think he's holding the Force of Will?
Yeah, I would hold up Force of Will for sure.
Okay, so at this point we're going to try and trade the 1-for-1s.
Yeah.
Not making super efficient use of that fetch land, but we're going to play the top.
Yeah, I don't like the way he played that fetch land, and I would definitely not play the top as well, just because he's clearly willing to jam his premier threats into your open mana.
Yeah, he has a lot of them.
So just keep letting him bring the game to you.
Scribrager main phase.
Probably just doesn't have another land drop.
That's probably the case. And there's not really a lot of value in holding it. It is a 1/1. It's not a major threat in the game. So we have a Brainstorm, which is a card we want to draw, but we don't want to shuffle our library until after we've drawn it, for sure.
But we also want to shuffle effect afterwards.
So we're not going to crack this polluted Delta. We're just going to draw Brainstorm and then crack Delta, I imagine.
It's so unfortunate. So
I think Shawn feels like he's a lot more pressured than he actually is in this game, based on his plays. Like he seems to really think that a Knight or something like that landing is going to kill him, and he actually has a lot of strong answers to it.
I agree.
He seems just very concerned with keeping Dakota's board clear. And while it's true that if he can just get to a late game state with a clear board, he's favored, he's not locked. Like, one of these cards will kill him if he has no hand, no board. Like,
the problem is his hand is actually one card.
Yep.
It's a free counterspell.
And that is the worst possible
Delta Pierce and a white card?
It's either a land or a white card. Oh, it might be an Entreat the Angels, actually. I don't know what that card looks like on camera yet, since I haven't seen it. Is that what it is? It looks shiny.
Well, he put it on top, whatever it is.
Yep, so I guess we'll see. He's forcing.
So we could see 12 power.
It's not an Interminus. I think we can agree that that's clearly the case. Oh, it's a Marsh Flats. Man.
There we go.
Has that little gold at the top, the white on the left.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he's now dealt with 3 Knights in a row.
We're all in on this top now. Solid Pride Mage. It's going to make things a little trickier, probably not bad.
Yeah.
See, this is the state we're talking about, when you're out of your answers, you don't really have a lot of options for what you're going to draw. Like, he has more than the average person, obviously, but once his fetch land's burned, he's back on top. This minor amount of damage is going to become a threat.
I think this is where Dakota's unfamiliarity with Shawn's deck list comes into play, because
he's just going to expand onto this board.
Now I really want him to hit a Terminus.
Yeah. Lands? Straight lands. Fetching.
Yeah. Full on 3 lands. Yeah, I think you just let it resolve.
I think that it's fine to be topping like this, because you were going to do this stuff anyway, and it might create the impression in your opponent that you're looking for permission here, whether you are or not.
Right.
He's not going to expect getting Terminus if you're looking for permission to counter his next creature, you know?
Right. Makes a ton of sense.
That's a Terminus.
We found it. We found one.
And we have a Jace, so we can actually leave the Terminus.
Yeah, I would not draw it.
I agree. I think
he left it on top, but I don't like that decision.
Yeah, I think we just want to draw Jace, play Jace, and have the top and play to Terminus him when he goes for anything else. That just seems way more powerful.
Because if he has an Exalted dude, then he is liable to play that.
Yep. You'll just get an extra creature out of him, maybe.
He's gonna get his last night.
No.
Terminus awkwardly positioned against Green Sun Zenith because Zenith keeps shuffling in and they keep shuffling all of their threats in. Yep. So you aren't actually killing them. You're just putting them on the bottom.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Their deck density is going to increase over the course of the game if you're just blasting each other this way.
Right. Like, unless, if he terminuses this board, Dakota still has access to a knight, whereas Wrath of God doesn't allow for that possibility.
That's true.
Likewise, one of the issues that Rug Delver has is getting their threat density ground down.
Yeah, as they lose creatures, it's very hard for them to continue presenting threats because
they only have 12
each one, and their mana is so tight.
Whereas if they keep getting put on bottom, then you just always have more nimble monkeys to shuffle into.
Oh, he retopped now.
Nah.
That he saw the threat. Oh, no, he kept the Terminus on top. Okay.
Not a fan.
Yeah, I think we could have gotten a lot more advantage, but it's fine. We're still probably in a good position.
I mean, maybe he just doesn't want to give Dakota a knight activation.
Maybe that's the case. I don't know what the worst thing a knight could do to us in this position is, to be totally honest. We already have Gaia's Cradle, which is like the best card. Yeah, Wasteland doesn't seem very effective. Fate Seal, okay.
We are going straight for the head here.
Maybe this is how he plays Jace with this deck. Like, it's more of just an offensive card. Like, he'd flip the top to get it in play, and he's just going to try and grind him out. I think that's going to be hard. It might work out, though. To be fair, he does know what he'd be brainstorming into, so it's possible he just didn't regard it as that useful, and he can't Fate Seal himself to get rid of one of those cards, which is what I normally like doing in that kind of position, where you know the cards, you don't want to bother brainstorming them.
Yeah.
Although
if Dakota was just like a pure master, then he throws Kasali Pride Mage at Sensei's Divining Top at the end of Shawn's turn, and then he's just like locked out of playing Terminus for that turn, and he kills the Jace.
That would be awkward.
But that's like 11 levels above.
Yeah, that's fair.
Every single.
It's entirely possible that Shawn actually was worried about that happening. Like,
just gives his opponent a zillion points of credit.
I noticed that kind of stuff happening when you're testing your brew against your friends and teammates.
Yeah,
and
they
start
just make
making
the
plays
sickest plays.
Yeah. But
you're like, no one ever like goes for the disenchant on my top at the end of my turn. Get real.
Replayed topped and Fate Sealed and an Aven Mind Sensor that is not threatening a Jace is coming down. That's cool. We are going to respond?
Plow it.
We're going to go ahead and plow it now. I guess that's fine. We're going to probably regret that a little when he zeniths for another night here.
Yeah, his last night. The night count is at? He doesn't have zenith.
Oh, he doesn't have mana. No, he needs a creature in play. You're right. He's one shy.
He's going to have to zenith for his Scrib Ranger again.
Scrib Ranger is
or Scavenging Ooze.
Yeah, he might get an Ooze here. I would probably get an Ooze just because...
To shut off Snapcaster?
Yeah, I see these blue cards, I see these swords, I don't want my opponent Snapcastering me to death. That is a miserable way to die.
The problem is, like, you're just going to get Jace a bunch. And, like, Scrib Ranger is pro-blue.
I understand that, but that Jace is clearly, like... Shawn is displaying an intent to Jace kill us.
Yes.
He's not trying to get more cards. He thinks he has enough. He thinks Jace is going to do it, so... Scrib Ranger will be pestering this Jace, and it will give Dakota the mana he needs to go get more threats. And to be fair, unless within the next 4 cards or whatever there's a Snapcaster Mage, then this is completely fine also.
Right.
Because you can just get the Ooze on the next turn, assuming you're not getting the Knight also.
Yeah, I feel like he's just going to get Knight every time. Untap it. Now he has 3 mana again.
Yeah, we actually have 2 Green Sun Zenith in our hand.
Brainstorm.
We have a Snapcaster Mage in that Brainstorm.
And a Plow. And a Vendilion Click. This is a good Brainstorm.
A bounty of riches.
Yeah, so we keep Snapcaster...
Plow?
Plow, yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and plow this dork. And it's Dakota's turn. He draws another Swords. This card is not at its best against Shawn.
He's gonna love all those swords against when he gets entreated for 5.
Yeah. We're zenithing for 2. Might be getting that ooze now. Our guy is gone forever. No?
Snapcaster Counterspell.
Snapcaster Counterspell.
Top J Snapcaster versus
it's close.
3-ish lands and
close.
2
You're right.
2 Swords to Plowshares. Anybody's
Fate
game.
Seal. Fate Seal. Alright, and swing.
Just looking for an Entreat the Angels now.
Jace Leave It, still one of the most depressing moments for any player, I think.
Well, after it got banned in Standard.
That's not true. Vendilion Click Keep 'em is probably...
No, Vendilion Click Keep 'em can be anything, because I've been told to Vendilion Click Keep 'em on 7 cards and beat my opponent very handily in the next 5 turns.
Ooh, that's awkward.
Wasteland?
We have a Wasteland for all the good that it will do us here. It will let us cast Green Sun Zenith for that 4th night, but that's probably not going to be good enough. Oh, we're out of it. We played our 2nd Zenith. My mistake.
Yeah.
Swords. We're in our death throes now. Thrashing about.
Using Swords to Plowshares on the first thing that moves.
And he moved once.
He didn't see it the first time.
Again.
He was looking in the other direction. Mother of Runes.
Mommy.
Right on time.
And this is basically just a demonstration of probably how this matchup will generally go. Like, I don't even think Shawn's start was especially strong. He traded kind of awkwardly for a while there, but the cards in his deck that take control of the game are so much more powerful than the cards Dakota's doing.
Yeah.
Especially Terminus, obviously.
Terminus just changes the Savannah v Tundra matchup in a fundamental way. Before, it was a battle of Stoneforge Mystic decks, and the better Stoneforge Mystics had green mana behind them. Yeah. And now we see that this is a much purer blue-white control deck that, is more dedicated to planeswalking, is more dedicated to countering, and has Ponders to execute its game plan more consistently and efficiently, and keep its land count exactly where it needs it.
Sure. I agree with that assessment. The cards that usually were good against a lot of these Stoneforge Mystic decks, even especially Mother of Runes, which can turn off Swords to Plowshares, in this matchup they're a liability because they don't beat down, you're not clocking them, and it's just another guy that dies to the Terminus.
Yeah.
Which
getting Wrathed is miserable in this format. No one builds their deck with that in mind.
Yeah.
It's just not a card that exists.
So going to the sideboards, obviously the 4th Terminus is going to come in.
Yeah.
The 2 Path to Exiles, certainly.
And the Relic.
Okay. Those will keep the Knights shrunk.
Yeah. On this side, Gaddock Teague shuts off Terminus.
Gaddock Teague does shut off Terminus.
As well as the Planeswalkers. Yeah, we've got 2 chokes. We've got 2 Enlightened Tutors.
To find the chokes.
And I don't like Stoneforge Mystic in this.
No, I don't like Stoneforge Mystic either. I don't imagine we'll see.
Do you like Croson Grip?
I think after seeing that game, if I'm Dakota, I might think, I might want a Croson Grip.
Yeah.
The idea of getting Terminus on my own turn is kind of horrifying.
Yeah, like the end step Croson Grip is.
Yeah. And we have a lot of cards that are clearly mediocre.
Right. The plows get out immediately.
Gone, the plow's gone. Jitte itself is even of questionable value, but I think we might want something to make sure each creature can present a threat. That way we can play against a Wrath by just presenting 1, maybe 2 threats at a time. It also lets our fetch lands turn into a reasonable threat thanks to Dryad Arbor post-Wrath.
Right. I would cut the Stoneforge Mystic, though.
I agree. He's not a good beater. Or she, pardon me, the Core Artificer.
I don't like Aven Mind Sensor if all they're doing is hitting fetch lands.
I don't like the Mind Sensor, but I don't know if you have enough cards to board out to make...
Okay, so you want 1 Grip, 1 Teague, 2 Chokes, 2 Tutors.
That's 6, and we already have the 4 Plows, the Linvala, and the Stoneforge Mystic. So I think our Flash threat might make the cut.
That's valid. That's fair.
That's all we get.
Yeah. Oh no, you have to cut Mazaveth. Sorry.
Oh, Mazaveth. Yep.
Everyone forgets about cutting lands.
Mazaveth in the wrong column.
Gets out.
Gosh, it's a spell.
Mazaveth, get on out. Linvala stays in probably.
Yep. It's the biggest beater, and that's really all you want. It has virtually no applications against Shawn's deck, but what else are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah.
Let's hope it doesn't awkwardly run into it and treat the Angels.
Let's hope that their Vendilion Plagues awkwardly run into it.
Yeah. And she has a big threat. It's not so bad.
Yeah. Flies over Elspeth tokens.
Yeah, I don't really see anything else. If we wanted to get really techie, I guess theoretically you can use Crypt to shut off these Snapcaster shenanigans, but that seems not worth what you're doing.
No, sir.
Yeah.
I'd rather just ooze, because that's how it's done.
That is how it's done. Ooze is one of my favorite cards in Legacy right now, actually. It is the primary driving force behind me wanting to play green in the format.
I agree.
Tarmogoyf, Ooze, yes. Very strong. Watching it on display in each Legacy Open, always impressed with its power level.
Yeah.
It reads so innocuous, but plays so powerfully.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Nimble Mongoose.
Not me. I could care less. Take him or leave him. It's not that big deal. And I love Mongoose, so don't get me wrong. Fine creature type, but...
I mean, I came back around it after Patrick Sullivan played 4 at the Charlotte Invitational and also played 4 Blurred Mongoose.
I played Blurred
Clearly
Mongoose.
just the best creature type.
Back in the day on the JSS. Sleeved up
You
some
were
Blurred
young
Mongoose.
once?
I was young once. I was not
You
always
had a childhood?
Abraham Lincoln, as I say. A little chatty between the games, perhaps debating the merits of Terminus.
Well, I think it's good because it routes you on your turn for 1 mana. What do you think? Well, I don't know. I think route should cost 7, not 1.
Wizards R&D apparently has disagreed. Route has aged quite well.
Yeah. Has freshened up with time.
Yes. Looks like we've got a little judge chatter, maybe? Yep. Dakota shuffling quietly before presenting. And I think we're underway. It looks like they're dealing some hands here. Interestingly enough, I think both these decks can keep a lot of hands in this matchup. Dakota's cards have a pretty flat power level. They're all just dudes, and if he has lines to cast them, he's probably in good shape. And Shawn's deck is virtually all answers or cantrips, so he'll be keeping most of his hands well.
Lands and spells are the only real definition of a keepable hand in this matchup. Brainstorm, Jace, Force, Counterspell.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we have 2 Jaces there or something, I think.
Yeah, I saw Brainstorm, Jace, Force, Counterspell.
Yep.
And 1 other land. 2 other lands?
Yeah, I think he has 2 lands.
The appropriate number of lands. I don't like this. This is a very aggressive Enlightened Tutor for choke.
Yeah, he's definitely just letting Shawn know what's up.
Yeah, now Shawn can just like hold up Counterspell forever. The ideal way to play this, for those of you at home, is wait for him to slam Jace on 4. Let him bounce your dude and then choke him.
That sounds right.
Like you play a dude 1 mana up.
Does it change your play if you have a second choke in your hand? Just out of curiosity. Like, do you think...
Like if you already have choke in hand?
Yeah.
Oh, then you just never cast it and you play for that and you don't even need to resolve the Enlightened Tutor.
He still has swords.
What?
Ah, he must have boarded it a little differently. Or perhaps he just really didn't know what was going on in Shawn's deck. He might suspect some other shenanigans. Or maybe he just didn't believe that all the cards...
Maybe he thinks that they're Stoneforge Mystics.
That's possible. If that's the case, then Shawn's rogue status has given him a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Island Spell Snare. So I guess in a sense we were kind of wrong that there are mulligans in this matchup. Dakota effectively on 6. But he does have that choke, which if it resolves will be a massive problem.
We have Brainstorm Terminus for the full hookup.
That is the hookup. We have the third land, but I don't think we're going to be trying our choke this turn. That seems a little aggressive. We know our opponent's deck has actual counterspell in it, just blue counter target spell.
Yeah.
Marsh Flats, but is that another land we drew? Because otherwise I know we're out.
Yeah.
Dakota's fetching during the end step. Probably by now has put this opponent on the fact that he doesn't have Wasteland, so he's just going to get some mana every time. Until he gets Dryad Arbor, I suppose, for that turn for the beatdown, but that is not turn 3.
Yeah, the surprise Dryad Arbor is always nice when timed appropriately.
Even Mind Sensor?
Get his beatdown on.
Oblivion Ring was our draw.
And this is the sort of thing where if you don't fire off that Enlightened Tutor turn 1, there's some temptation
he might force
to parry with Force or Counterspell. And then you can just upkeep Enlightened Tutor, land choke.
Yeah, I agree. I think you want to, when you're going to 4 mana generally, be the choke turn.
Yeah, like cast Knight.
If he had seen Vendilion Click, I suppose there's some argument for avoiding that.
Sure.
But he didn't even see it in the last game, so I don't think there's a particularly large number of good reasons to play around it. In fact, in this situation, he's made himself more vulnerable to it.
Right, by putting the choke in his hand.
Scavenging Ooze. I think we just want to let these guys go. We're probably going to be forced to Terminus a little faster than we might like, but we have to brainstorm our way into some lands anyway, so it's not that big a deal. Yep. End of the turn, we're brainstorming.
Hits 3
I note
lands.
that he did just pick up all those 3. What if he'd accidentally hit a Terminus during the end of his opponent's turn? He could have just gotten him.
Yeah.
Something to watch out for. I think that's more of a old habit moment.
Oh, well, he brainstormed and...
Yeah, I know he was putting that one back. But he could have saved a mana on this turn.
Sure.
That would have just been the exact same. And we did hit a land. Maybe 2. I think 2. We have Polluted Delta?
Yeah.
Yes. That was an excellent brainstorm.
Polluted Delta.
We just want to make land drops and not get choked. That is our goal.
Jam Jace with
Jam Jace.
5 mana up.
Well, we have Force of Wills here, so...
Yeah, you don't ever want to pitch a card to Force Will. That's my objective against Maverick. Never, ever pitch a card to Force Will.
You don't think you just go for the Jace on 4 or whatever? If he has no creature or 1 creature like you counterspell here, untap Jace, go. Well, maybe not this one. We might wait for a
Jace,
real
you
man.
know her.
Is he going to waste us off 4 mana?
I would absolutely pull that trigger.
I think you're right. You definitely want to let them pick their land first. But I agree that it's probably your ideal situation.
He really wants that for mana. I guess he wants to Green Sun Zenith?
Ooh, was that? That was a top, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're good just chilling. Yeah, we'll just play our top. Whatevs. And we have Oblivion Ring for choke now in our hand as well. And as long as we can keep a Kasali Pride Mage from freeing it, it does not actually kill us if choke resolves for Shawn. He's gonna go for it. Choke.
That's not a land.
Oh, never mind.
I mean, he didn't give away any unknown information.
That was awkward.
Hey!
It did look a lot like a Savannah officer. We're gonna pop the Horizon Canopy. Forest.
Yeah. Shawn is playing this very conservatively, which I like. There's nothing really going on. He's not in any danger of losing. He can just wait until... Yeah. Counter choke, untap Jace. Perfect.
Magic is a difficult game.
Let the game come to you. The awesome play here would be if Dakota set him up so that the second choke is already in his hand.
Yes. Well, actually, this turn, like, that would have been possible with 6 mana before he popped that canopy. Like,
if you're Shawn, do you just have to jam your Jace here?
I don't really see a reason not to.
You have Force in a blue card, too.
Yeah.
I also really like that he kept Island open.
Yep. Very much agree. Just thinking over the modes. With my opponent on so few cards here and having not presented a real threat, I think Fate Seal is fine.
Yeah. I tap out to Island because I'm Fate Sealing. If I were Brainstorming, I would tap to Plains.
Okay. That's reasonable. Thinking over that card. Must be an interesting one.
Probably a Greenstone Zenith or something.
Yeah, probably thinking, what can this do? That seems like a reasonable guess.
It's not like you have to think that hard about a Knight of the Reliquary.
Yeah,
but you have to think like, oh, well, how can he hurt me with, oh, whatever, I don't want to have to let him figure out how to kill me with it. And it's not like it's the second choke, where you just throw it across the room.
Dakota's a little flooded here. And he's just going for the throat. He's ignoring the Jace. I guess he figures the Fate Sealing is not that bad. He's not going to gain incremental card advantage by brainstorming based on Shawn's plays from the previous game.
Yeah.
He only brainstormed when
the Wasteland comes a turn late.
But the problem in this game is that Shawn doesn't need anything. He has Jace, he has Brainstorm, he has a counterspell, and now he has a Path to Exile to go with his Oblivion Ring. He can kill virtually anything.
And everything. I think he just has, like, Dakota's entire potential hand covered. In terms of
so if
answer
you're Shawn,
to answer. Yeah?
Most cards seem non-threatening from this position. You can leave a lot of them on top. What are the ones you're bottoming? We mentioned Choke, just because it's a must counter, so I think bottoming that one's fine. Are there any other cards that you just have to bottom?
The one of Elspeth.
The one Elspeth, okay.
Yeah, that's probably just about it.
Every other spell is basically just
Sylvan Library. You can't let him keep Sylvan Library, because then he just gets to rearrange.
It does dismiss your ability to Fate Seal. That makes sense.
Can't let him keep Fauna Shaman. I would definitely let him keep Knight of the Reliquary.
I might let him keep the Fauna Shaman. I think like if we have to burn our path, it's not that bad. But I guess
that one's like right in the middle, right?
Sure, I'll agree with that.
It's one of the ones you'd actually think about. Snap bottom of Zenith, though.
Yeah.
Don't let him figure out how to time that to kill us.
I think I'm bottoming Pride Mage, considering I have the Oblivion Ring in my hand the vast majority of the time as well.
You could just O-ring the Pride Mage.
Well, sure, but I don't want to. The plays, I think the things we're bottoming are the ones that make us do something.
Sure.
A specific thing.
Yeah.
If we can choose our own reaction, then I think it's fine.
Legitimate.
It's clearly not threatening enough. Frozen Grip. Gotcha. Yep, that's gone. And one. Up top. Just thinking about it.
Ooh.
It doesn't matter.
You path that there?
I don't think I path it, but I think Shawn's riding high on feeling in control, you know? Like, there's nothing he can do.
I've got Jace on 7, and he's got no board.
And we hit a fetch land. Oh, we might be brainstorming now. Oh.
Yeah.
Nope, we're Fate Sealing. He is a dedicated Fate Sealer, and I can respect that. I do like to Fate Seal.
He has a plan, he's sticking to it.
One of the amusing parts is with so few cards that are worthy of bottoming in Dakota's deck, how often are you Fate Sealing yourself here, you know?
Yeah, that actually makes a ton of sense.
Mother of Runes, yep, that one is fine.
I think you have to O-ring that one.
And it turns off your O-ring, so it seems likely.
It would just be the most disastrous thing if you... Yeah.
Yep, O-ringed.
Like, cast that in a turn, and then it protectioned itself, and you had to O-ring your Jace.
Yep. And that's the game, yeah. He O-rings there because he knows no creature in Dakota's deck is going to be capable of dealing Jace the point of damage before it can get to the thing. So
Right.
it just locks the win immediately to do it. There's no real way it can go wrong.
Correct.